History has no sympathy for the man who chooses poorly. No applause, no mercy, just a slow collapse, silent and irreversible. And by the time most men realize what they've done, they're already standing at the funeral of their own potential. Not because they were weak, but because they let the wrong woman through the gates of their life and didn't notice she was holding the match. No one warns you. Your mother won't. Your friends can't, and society, it profits from your blindness. But Machiavelli knew. He knew that the downfall of great men was rarely fate. It was almost always a choice, a foolish one, a beautiful one, a seductive one. And while modern culture sells men romantic delusions, love, loyalty, ride or die, Machiavelli offered something far more useful. Reality. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you truly are. Most men are ruled by what they see, but the wise man, he penetrates the illusion. He sees beyond the makeup, the curves, the charm. He studies her patterns, her values, her discipline. Not when she's performing, but when she thinks no one is watching. Let me give you the first brutal law. There are only two types of women. Beneficial or destructive, that's it. Not maybe, not she's working on herself. Not it's complicated. She either multiplies your life or she drains it slowly, subtly, completely. And here's the dark truth. Most women today have mastered the art of appearing beneficial while living parasitically. They smile sweetly while they poison your focus. They praise your ambition while pulling you off course. And you, if you are not sovereign, you will call it love. This video isn't about hate, it's about strategy. Because if you don't become cold-eyed in your selection, you will bleed out while calling it commitment. Machiavelli warned, "He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who allows himself to be deceived. And the man who chooses based on beauty alone, he's already signed the surrender papers. He just hasn't felt the consequences yet." The greatest danger isn't the woman herself. It's your failure to discern. You see, beauty blinds the undisciplined man, and in a world that trains men to worship appearance and dismiss substance, it's no surprise most fall at the feet of what looks right while walking past what is right. But Machiavelli wasn't writing for romantics. He was writing for rulers. And a ruler never lets the gates of his kingdom be breached by emotion dressed as opportunity. A destructive woman doesn't need to raise her voice. She just needs to distract you from your purpose, your path, your code. She chips away at your fire by making you explain it. She waters down your discipline by calling it rigid. And before you realize it, you've traded your throne for her comfort. The wise man sees the illusion for what it is, an emotional weapon hidden behind mascara and compliments. And when he looks at a woman, he doesn't ask, "Is she beautiful?" He asks, "Can she stand beside my vision without trying to control it?" That's the test. And most men never ask the question until everything they've built is already gone. Here's your next law. Never choose a woman who disrespects masculine authority. It doesn't matter how sweet she sounds when she wants something. It doesn't matter how stunning she looks in a dress. If she competes with your leadership rather than aligning with it, walk. If she challenges your direction without wisdom, leave. If she sees your strength as a threat rather than a shelter, she is not your woman. She is a storm dressed as sunshine. Machiavelli understood power. He knew that those who fail to secure it become slaves to the very forces they once tried to tame. You think you can handle her drama. You think you can negotiate respect. You think love will fix it. No, it won't. Because once you choose her, she holds the power you gave away. You handed it over, dressed it up in velvet words like compromise, understanding, partnership. But Machiavelli knew what most modern men have forgotten. It is far safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And before you misunderstand, this isn't about being cruel, it's about being respected. A man who cannot command his woman's respect will never keep her loyalty. A woman will test your standards to find your spine. And when she finds none, she will resent you for it. She won't leave. She'll stay just long enough to ruin you. And when she's done, she'll whisper, "You changed." No, you collapsed and she watched it happen. You were trained to believe that masculinity must always be soft, that leadership must always be democratic, that real strength is about compromise, especially with women. But Machiavelli warned what happens when power is diluted. It vanishes. The moment you allow your authority to be negotiated, you've already surrendered it. She will not respect a man who apologizes for leading. She may smile, she may nod, but deep down she'll know you don't stand for anything. And once a woman senses that your spine bends for her comfort, she will lose all desire to stand beside you. Because deep down, even the most modern woman wants to follow a man she cannot move. This doesn't mean being unkind. It means being clear. Clear in your expectations, clear in your vision, clear in your boundaries. Because if she can rattle you with tears, seduce you into submission, or argue her way out of discipline, you are not her man. You are her project, her puppet, her placeholder until someone with a backbone walks in. You don't get loyalty from love. You get it from being a man who cannot be manipulated. Your third commandment is this: watch how she handles boredom. Any woman can be sweet when she's entertained, when she's getting gifts, when your attention is constant. But watch what happens when the thrill fades. Does she create peace, or does she ignite chaos just to feel alive? This is when her true nature shows. A woman who needs drama to feel something will destroy your future the moment real life demands patience, focus, or self-control. You want a woman who can sit in stillness, not one who burns your kingdom down just because she's bored. Then there's the lie society tells you her past doesn't matter. You're insecure if you care. Makaveli would laugh in your face because he knew. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Her past is your future. The woman who betrayed others before you, she's not starting over with you. She's perfecting the method. If her history is chaos, her future with you won't be any different. Don't ignore the warning signs just because she smiles when she lies. Next law: never align your legacy with someone who mocks your mission. You are a man with vision, or you should be. And a man with vision does not marry lust. He aligns with mission. If she disrespects your discipline, if she rolls her eyes at your ambition, if she worships attention but laughs at your legacy, she's not your ally, she's your assassin. A woman who cannot handle stillness will crave disruption. And if there's none, she will create it. When the spotlight fades, when the gifts stop, when life becomes steady, she becomes restless. Restlessness in a woman is not harmless. It is often the root of infidelity, drama, and sabotage, dressed in emotional spontaneity. Makaveli would call this what it is: an undisciplined soul, dangerous to any man on a mission. If you ignore this trait, she won't destroy you loudly. She'll do it subtly with passive doubt, with emotional withdrawal when you focus on your craft, with resentment when you don't dance for her chaos. And then there's her past. You've been told her past is irrelevant, but that's a lie meant to keep you blind. A woman who jumps from man to man doesn't value depth. She values novelty. A woman who's betrayed others doesn't need healing. She needs accountability. You are not her savior. You're not her second chance. You're the next chapter in her pattern, unless you draw the line. Look at her patterns, not her promises, because the woman who mocks your mission will one day mock your downfall and call it growth. Here's a truth no man wants to hear, but every real man must obey. If she doesn't fear losing you, she'll never value you. A woman who believes you'll always be there, no matter what she says, no matter how much value she stops bringing, will grow to despise you. Why? Because what costs nothing is worth nothing. And Machiavelli knew men should be either caressed or crushed. There is no middle ground. Women will do the same to you. If she can't lose you, she will control you. If she fears losing you, she will rise to meet your standard. This is not about playing games. It's about holding frame. The man who is willing to walk away always owns the power. And no woman respects the man who trades that power for comfort. Stop rewarding disrespect with more attention. Stop begging for loyalty with acts of desperation. Stop bending your spine to avoid being alone. Machiavelli didn't write for soft men. He wrote for rulers. And a ruler doesn't explain his worth. He guards it. He tests her. He chooses her based on standards, not feelings. And that leads us to the next commandment. Choose a woman whose presence strengthens your discipline, not softens it. The wrong woman will tempt you to skip the gym, laugh at your boundaries, and label your ambition as too much. She'll do it smiling. She'll call it love. But it's treason. Because a real woman, a beneficial woman, doesn't beg you to stay soft. She dares you to stay sharp. A woman who doesn't fear losing you will never truly value what she has. She might claim she loves you. She might even believe it. But without that underlying tension, that awareness that you could leave at any moment, she will begin to drift into complacency, or worse, quiet contempt. That's why women instinctively test boundaries. It's not about cruelty. It's about confirmation. They want to know, is this man real? Is he solid? Or is he just performing strength to keep me around? If you flinch, she knows. If you fold, she owns you. A man who cannot walk away from a woman cannot lead her. And Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, long before modern psychology gave it a name. Respect is rooted in fear, not fear of abuse, fear of consequence, fear of your absence. And that fear keeps her grounded in reality, not fantasy. So while others tell you to open up, Machiavelli would tell you to sharpen your edge. Because if a woman can stay in your life while disrespecting your values, you're not her king. You're her fool, and history is full of fools who loved too softly and lost everything. Now let me speak to the man who's already trapped. The man who hears this and thinks, it's too late. I've already chosen wrong. No, it's not too late, but it will cost you. It will cost you your comfort, your pride, maybe your money, maybe years you'll never get back. But ask yourself this, what's more expensive, leaving now or dying slowly over the next 20 years? Because make no mistake, the wrong woman will drain you. And when you're empty, she will leave anyway. Not because she's evil, but because nature has no sympathy for a man who refuses to lead himself. Makaveli knew people respect what they fear losing. And if she doesn't fear losing you, it's because you taught her not to. That ends today. You're not here to be an emotional sponge, a side character in her story, a fixer of broken things. You are here to build. And what you build will either be fortified by her presence or burned down by her nature. Most modern men don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they were trained to believe their weakness is love. They call surrender compassion. They call silence peace. They call self-betrayal devotion. But Machiavelli stripped away the delusion. A prince who is not himself wise cannot be wisely advised. Meaning what? If you're weak, you will only attract women who prey on it. You'll confuse their chaos for chemistry, and you'll keep calling yourself unlucky when in truth you're just undisciplined. The most dangerous lie a man can tell himself is, she'll change. No, she won't. She'll adapt just enough to keep you hooked. Then she'll revert to the chaos that secretly excites her because you were never a man she followed, just one she managed. The truth is, you're not stuck, you're addicted. Addicted to the hope that this time will be different. That this next argument will lead to breakthrough. That your patience, your pain, your sacrifices will be repaid with loyalty. They won't. Because when you choose the wrong woman, you've already entered a contract where you lose by design. Every time you compromise to avoid conflict, you lose authority. Every time you silence your truth to keep the peace, you lose respect. And once she senses that you've built your life around her approval, she will use it to reshape you into something smaller. Maki didn't write for men who need therapy. He wrote for men who need to reclaim the throne of their own mind. And the first step, admit you've surrendered, then rise. Not for revenge, but for rebirth. Because the man you used to be is the reason she stayed. The man you must become is the reason she won't survive your future. Here's what no motivational speaker will ever tell you. No woman on earth is your purpose, not one. Your purpose is your mission, your discipline, your legacy. A woman can complement it or corrupt it, but she can never replace it. Yet most men today, they flip the equation. They make her the mission. They orbit her emotions. They wake up every morning chasing her validation. And they wonder why she loses respect. Because women do not trust men who orbit them. They trust men who orbit nothing but their purpose. That's why the same woman who disrespects one man will worship another. Not because she changed, but because the frame changed. Here's the brutal lesson. Never choose a woman who cannot thrive in your absence. You want to know who she really is? Step back, disappear. Watch. Does she multiply or does she fall apart the moment your attention fades? If she cannot hold the line when you're not watching, she will betray it the moment life tests you. Makaveli taught rulers to fortify their cities, to control their borders. You are no different. Your energy is your fortress. Your standards are your gates. Let the wrong woman in and it won't be an invasion. It'll be a slow collapse from the inside out. And here's the part that stings. Most men who fall knew she was the wrong woman. They just lacked the strength to walk away. A man without a mission becomes a servant to his emotions and a slave to hers. And the moment you place a woman at the center of your life, she instinctively begins to test whether you were ever built to lead. She doesn't want to be your oxygen. She wants to feel your fire. That's why your absence is the ultimate measure. Not to play games, but to reveal her truth. Does she stay grounded? Does she guard what you've built? Or does she seek validation elsewhere the second you're no longer feeding her ego? Most men never test this because they fear what they might find. And that fear keeps them loyal to a fantasy instead of loyal to themselves. Your standards are not demands. They are defenses against manipulation, against distraction, against decline. Makaveli warned rulers never to let enemies through the gates.